Hello and welcome back to Irons United for another pre-season preview. Before we get started though, I just want to remind you of last night's show that our good friend of the channel, DJ Russ, did on his own channel, My Hammers 11, where he brought some social media accounts together, West Ham Fan TV, Hammers Chat, Irons United, and he did a show called Pointless. The whole point of the show was to raise awareness and money for all of the Iron food banks. If you check them all out on their links, we'll try and put some links in the video, and raise as much money for the local community in and around Noom to help people maybe that are more disadvantaged than others. So what a great cause. He raised nearly £10,000 on for the event, so make sure you get over there and click on it. I was on last night and you had to give your kind of most obscure West Ham 11, although I gave players that I kind of liked at the same time, so it was very, very interesting. But of course, we are here to bring to you today our preview of the Brentford game, who we play tomorrow at 2 p.m. We travel all the way to the Brentford Community Stadium for our third pre-season game of the mini summer pre-season that West Ham are currently in. West Ham split the squad over two games the other day after beating Wycombe Wanderers 4-1 and Ipswich Town 5-1, and now bring the squad together for the first time this pre-season. Get your comments in before I start to dive into a little bit about Brentford, and keep the comments rolling in. Again, hit the thumbs up and of course subscribe to the channel. So let's have a look at our opposition. Brentford, who lost out to Scott Parker's Fulham in the playoff finals last season, start their pre-season campaign tomorrow unsure of whether they can keep some of their best players, and in particular player of the season, supposed West Ham target Ollie Watkins. I'm trying to get some images up here for you. And they are not coming up for some weird reason, but we'll see what happens there. Ollie Watkins, he picked up the Championship Player of the Season after scoring an impressive 26 goals. That's the wrong player. I don't know what's going on with this. He scored an impressive 26 goals for the Bees last season. So it'll be interesting to see if he starts the game or even just makes an appearance, especially after hearing Aston Villa have upped their offer for the youngster, who is also capable of playing in wide positions. Lots of teams are definitely interested in Watkins, and we may find ourselves in an auction, but we all know how anybody performs in an auction if they have no money. So Brentford apparently have agreed a deal to sign Ivan Toney from Peterborough, but the deal will probably not be finalised to see him play any part of the fixture. Two more West Ham targets that Brentford currently play or try their trade at Brentford is Rico Henry, who's the fullback, and midfielder Ben Harama. Now, both players have been key to Brentford's promotion push last season, and Brentford will definitely be keen to keep their assets for at least one more season and try and push on with the promotion challenge this year. It'll be really interesting to see if they do feature at all tomorrow, and if they do, how do they fare against a team who have definitely got their eye on these two players in particular. Rico Henry, he does look like the real deal, to be honest. He is just trying to get the images up there for you. It does look like he's the real deal. He's got a lot of talent. He has a really good mix of attack and his ability to not leave the defence short by tracking back. So, yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see again if this is a sort of player that can maybe come up against the Premier League opposition and perform to that level. So keep your eye on him if he does perform. Again, it'll be interesting to see if he is, because he's definitely up there for a few of the clubs out there looking for new players, in particular fullback positions. And again, of course, other guy I've just mentioned, Ben Rama, who was pivotal to Brentford's promotion push last season. And we have done previous videos on him being linked to West Ham. So again, it'll be really, really interesting to see if they can potentially make a move or can perform at the highest level. Next up to talk about is another kind of player that's not really linked to be going out because he only signed for Brentford last summer. It's the under-21 French international Brian Mbeumo, who last season popped up with 15 goals and 8 assists. So he's another one to watch and to be clear of. Now, Brentford, their manager is Thomas Frank, who usually opts for a 4-3-3 formation, and he has a key eye for talent. He's known for sourcing players who are maybe you could describe as diamonds in the rough, and that he can mould these sorts of players into his team. Brentford are a progressive side. They like to attack, but they're patient with that attack. Last season, they played 46 games, winning 24, losing 13, and drawing 9 goals. But this is the key fact here. They scored 80 goals. That's the most in the Championship, and only conceded 38, second behind the champions, Leeds United. So I do think this is going to be a great test for West Ham, because we're coming up against an opposition that only were 8 places of a difference between the Premier League and the Championship in finishing spots. And, you know, they were really, really close and unlucky not to get through that Championship final against Fulham. So this will be the first, you could say, real proper test in pre-season for West Ham. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So tomorrow the game will be on 2 p.m. Hopefully we'll be doing a watch along. So make sure you keep an eye on the channel. Like I said, subscribe and follow us on the watch along if we do that. So we'll let you know over the next kind of couple of hours if we are. So yeah, Brentford will definitely be a good challenge, and you know they'll be keen to keep an eye on their prized assets for the promotion push for next season. But you know, money talks. We do know that. But unfortunately, I don't think West Ham have got much money, so we might not be able to pull any of these players through. But let's get on to West Ham for the preseason tomorrow. Moyes will have a big squad of experience and youth to choose from. It'll be really interesting to see who travels, considering the 2 matchday squads from the games the other day consisted of 32 players. I'm adamant, though, what we will see is a game of 2 halves, and he'll be keen to give as much time to a lot of his squad, his main squad, but we'll probably see a real mixture of the youth and experience. Although one person we definitely know that won't be travelling is Roberto, as today we heard that he actually signed a permanent fixture for free to Real Valladolid. Apparently the rumour is, and let me just get this right, the rumour is that West Ham are going to be covering nearly 60%, if not more than, of his weekly costs for the club. So get your comments in and let me know your thoughts again on maybe another potential crazy deal that West Ham have maybe done letting him go. But, you know he wasn't capable at that level. And yeah, all the best to him. But I mean, if we are potentially paying his fees, his wages over the next few months, then what are West Ham actually doing? Is that the only way we could really get rid of him? But get your comments in and let me know your thoughts. But we might give the youth players, the youth goalkeepers, a chance to travel with the matchday squad, Nathan Trott, and it'll be really interesting to see if these guys can step up to the mark, just like some of the younger players we saw in the 2 games against Wickham and Ipswich. So I'm going to talk to you about a few of those players. In particular, let's talk about Diangana. You know, he came back to West Ham after a really impressive season at West Brom. And he's now back with West Ham, and he looks like he's going to be trying to fire on all cylinders and try and push for some form of starting or big part of West Ham's future for this season. You know, I watched the game against Ipswich, and he was reasonably quiet in the first half, but he came out all guns blazing in the second half. He ended up the game with 3 assists. He assisted all 3 goals for Sebastian Haller, but he offers us a whole new ball game and a whole new. He's quite unpredictable in his position on the wing, but you know, it's a good potential problem that we've got, because he does offer us a new outlet and something that's nice to see. He could be the £25 million winger or midfielder that we've been craving, and maybe it won't be so bad that we've missed out on apparently Moyes' top target of Eze, who's now signed for Crystal Palace. So yeah, really, really keen to see him. Another younger player I'm really, really keen to see, and I watched, like I said, with the Ipswich game, was Alessi, the centre-half, who played against Ipswich. I tell you what, he stood out from a crowd. His ability to pass from distance is just top level. I don't think he literally put a foot wrong in that game. His tracking back was great. He's strong. He can tackle. He can block, and he's calm, collected in the back of that in that defence. So it'll be really interesting to see the mix of, say, Alessi, Ogbonna, Balbuena, and potentially Baptiste, who played in the central defence partnership alongside Ogbonna for the game at Wickham. So it'll be really interesting to see what Moyes does. We've got Ogbonna, we've got Balbuena, and we've got Alessi, we've got Baptiste and Diop, and it'll be really nice to see what Moyes can do to mix that crowd. Now, I think we may see if not all but those central defenders play a part in the game tomorrow. Like I said, I think it'll be a game of two halves. It might give Moyes an opportunity to mix up the partnerships and just see, can Baptiste perform with a different centre half and vice versa with Alessi. But it gives us options, and that's what I like to see. And yes, we're coming close to the start of the season, but we are coming up against a stronger opposition in Brentford. So it will be nice to see if these players can make that next step up. Now, over at the Wycombe game, we had players firing on all cylinders. Jared Bowen, who's been one of the most impressive signings for West Ham since he's joined, he banged in a goal. He got in the right place at the right time. So it'll be interesting to see the mix of him, Lanzini, Anderson, and how they all kind of form a partnership together, and how Moyes will want to play them. I mean, Lanzini, last season, I thought after his really bad injury that the pre-season would have done him the world of wonders and he would have come back, bounced back. But it didn't really happen for him last season. But, if West Ham don't sell any of our players, are we in a bad situation? If you think of Diangana, Bowen, Lanzini, Anderson, Haller, with Soucek, Noble, Rice, etc., all in that midfield, like there are signs of progression and attacking ability, and that's definitely what we want to see. So it'll be really, really, really interesting to see how Moyes lines up. We've got Haller, who came off the back of scoring a hat-trick thanks to maybe Diangana's 3 assists, but on top of that he could have had another 3 or 4 on top of those goals. I mean, he could have walked away with that game for 6 or 7 goals. Haller had 3 clear-cut chances before he scored those hat-tricks. I'm talking clear-cut in terms of they were 1-on-1 with the keeper and he hit them directly at the keeper. So what's going to be interesting to see is, does he balance the squad? Will he give one half to Antonio and then one half to Haller, or will he like to try and experiment and bring in those players in? But if these players are going to be fit and up for it, it does give Moyes problems for choices, and he may have to make some big decisions. Now, I get this is only a pre-season friendly, it's not the league, but it's a good test to see where Moyes may start to think in terms of moving forward with our squad for the new season, and potentially what we do need or what we don't need. So get your comments in below. Let me know your thoughts on what I've actually said about this game. And, it's going to be tough to try and pick a starting lineup. I'm not even going to go through that. But I just think what would be nice to see is players that have been given a chance and potentially start the game a mixture of experience and youth. Sorry, I've got my kids trying to get in the door here, left, right and centre. So maybe it's time for me to round up this preview of the game. So, hiya, this is live, this is what happens. Guys, let me just do this video, okay? I'll be back in 2 minutes. Sorry, guys, welcome to the live stream. This is exactly what happens. This is exactly what happens in the live stream. So, get your comments in with your score predictions of the game moving forward for tomorrow. And we'll be back with hopefully a watch along and a review of the game tomorrow. Thanks for watching. I'm Anton. Subscribe to the channel, thumbs up, comments in, all that malarkey, and hope you have enjoyed it. Come on, you.